There's a quiet tension in human connection, an unspoken rhythm that guides desire and attention. Some feel it immediately as a subtle shift in energy, an invisible signal between two people. Women, like all humans, are drawn not simply to words or gestures, but to a sense of presence, an unshakable calm, an emotional gravity that quietly signals authenticity. This is not about manipulation, nor charm, nor performance. It is the silent language of the mind and heart, a delicate interplay of attention, boundaries, and unspoken understanding that quietly shapes who pursues whom. There's a certain gravity in human presence, subtle yet undeniable, that escapes words but speaks volumes to those who notice. It is in the way someone carries themselves when no one is watching, in the calm steadiness of a glance, the unhurried rhythm of a gesture. Women, like all humans, are exquisitely sensitive to these undercurrents. They feel it not as a calculation but as an instinctual recognition, an invisible signal that something authentic and anchored exists beneath the surface. Attraction is rarely sparked by noise or effort. Loud declarations, constant attention, and performative gestures may draw the eye, but they seldom stir the deeper resonance that invites pursuit. Instead, what captivates is often quiet. A man who moves through space without neediness, who embodies a self-possession that does not demand approval. It is a magnetism born not from dominance or manipulation, but from emotional steadiness and subtle alignment. In everyday life, these cues are nearly imperceptible. The woman across the room senses that he is not easily swayed by external chaos. His thoughts, his emotions, his attention, they appear centered, contained, unpressured. She notices the way he listens without interrupting, observes without judging, engages without forcing. These small signals, often unnoticed by others, speak to a deeper psychology, the interplay of confidence, patience, and emotional clarity. Yet the pull is not about control, it is about resonance. Women are drawn to what mirrors stability and authenticity. The unspoken invitation to pursue arises when there is no immediate need to chase, when the presence itself quietly suggests reliability, depth, and self-possession. This is not a tactic, it is an emergent property of human behavior, the subtle alignment of inner calm with outer engagement. Moments of recognition are fleeting but intense. A glance held slightly longer, a pause that carries weight, a touch that seems effortless. These are the signals that register on a subconscious level. They awaken curiosity, desire, and the quiet motivation to engage further. The mind notices before the heart even fully realizes. In these invisible currents, the chase is born, not from scarcity or pressure, but from attraction to authenticity and measured presence. The invisible pull is a reflection of our shared human need for connection that is real, not performative. It is a reminder that pursuit is rarely triggered by effort alone. It is drawn to what feels alive, grounded, and true. In these quiet exchanges, the stage is set for the deeper patterns of desire and response. The impulses that guide attraction often trace back to the earliest landscapes of the mind. Long before conscious thought, experiences of care, attention, and emotional attunement shape the ways women, and humans in general, respond to subtle cues of presence. The way a child perceives reliability, safety, and emotional availability leaves invisible fingerprints on the adult psyche. These early patterns quietly inform whom they notice, whom they trust, and ultimately, whom they feel compelled to pursue. Attachment is the lens through which much of this behavior is filtered. Those raised with consistent support, even in small gestures, often internalize a sense of stability and security. They recognize it instinctively in others. Conversely, experiences of neglect or inconsistency heighten sensitivity, sharpening the radar for cues that suggest reliability. Women who have navigated uncertainty or emotional unpredictability are particularly attuned to subtle signs of steadiness. A calm, centered presence can feel like a rare and precious signal, almost magnetic in its clarity. But these roots are not solely about early life. They are intertwined with social and cultural conditioning. Observing relationships in family, community, and society teaches lessons about desire and pursuit. Patterns emerge. Emotional availability attracts attention. Over-eagerness often repels it. Subtle independence can spark curiosity. Women, like everyone, develop an unconscious understanding of these dynamics. They notice when someone occupies their space with composure, when attention is offered without pressure, when there is a balance between engagement and autonomy. These patterns become internal maps, guiding whom they follow emotionally and whom they pursue physically. Desire is thus both instinctive and learned, an interplay of internalized experience and present perception. The quiet resonance of someone who embodies emotional integrity taps into this duality. It triggers recognition on multiple levels: memory, instinct, intuition. The mind remembers patterns of reliability and safety. The heart responds to the feeling of alignment. Pursuit arises not from need, but from a subtle confirmation that the person observed embodies qualities that resonate with deeply rooted emotional frameworks. Yet there is often tension. The very clarity and steadiness that attract can also evoke hesitation or skepticism. Women may sense the potential for connection, but past experiences of inconsistency can temper the impulse to engage fully. This is the interplay of approach and retreat, curiosity and caution. Understanding these roots does not simplify desire, it deepens it. It reveals why attraction is rarely linear, why pursuit emerges in fits and starts, and why subtle presence carries more weight than overt effort. In recognizing the origins of response, the invisible threads become clearer. Women are drawn to signals that echo reliability, patience, and emotional integrity. The pursuit that arises from subtle presence is not merely poetic. It has a measurable psychology, a complex interplay of cognition, emotion, and instinct. Attraction is rarely conscious in its earliest stirrings. The mind perceives signals long before the heart or voice articulates them. Women respond to cues of emotional stability, subtle confidence, and self-possession because these traits signal reliability, safety, and alignment with their own unspoken needs. The brain, ever attuned to patterns of trust and consistency, registers these qualities as markers of potential connection. Attachment theory provides a framework for understanding this dynamic. Women with secure attachment histories are more likely to respond to the quiet confidence of presence. They seek resonance over intensity. Those with anxious or avoidant patterns may exhibit more complex reactions. Curiosity mixed with caution, approach intertwined with hesitation. Yet in nearly all cases, the same principle applies. The subtle, steady signals of composure and authenticity create a psychological space in which pursuit can safely emerge. It is a dance between recognition and desire, instinct and reflection, signal and response. Neuroscience echoes this subtlety. Dopamine pathways activate in response to unpredictable but safe patterns of attention, while oxytocin, the hormone of bonding, reinforces the appeal of emotional steadiness. When a woman senses a man's unhurried focus, his quiet attentiveness, her brain interprets these signals as low risk, high reward. The pull to engage, to follow, to explore emerges from this intricate blend of chemistry and perception. Desire is thus a dialogue between physiology and psychology, mediated by cues that are often unconscious but profoundly felt. Yet pursuit is rarely straightforward. Inner conflicts abound. A woman may feel the magnetic pull of presence but wrestle with fears of vulnerability, past disappointments, or the anticipation of emotional unavailability. The very qualities that attract, calm, composure, patience, can provoke reflection, hesitation, and evaluation. The tension between desire and self-protection creates a rhythm of push and pull, the subtle choreography of pursuit. Recognizing these patterns illuminates not just the external behavior, but the deeply human processes that shape connection. Ultimately, the psychology behind the chase is a mirror of authenticity. Women are drawn to those whose presence suggests emotional alignment, reliability, and integrity, not through effort, but through the quiet embodiment of these traits. The attraction that emerges is less about tactics and more about resonance, less about performance and more about authenticity. It is a reminder that human connection is rarely transactional, often invisible, and deeply relational.